Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kashawn Hopkins. I'm an instructional technology specialist from OPSRC. I'm also joined here with Kurt Bernhardt, our technology director, and today I'm here to talk about BookCreator. This is another part in our series of Tech Talks. If you ever want to reach out and talk to us or beyond this, you're very welcome to. We have our email up here at techteam@opsrc.net. Additionally, if you want to have access to the slides, they should be available through this link right here as well. That's t.ly/OYSP. That's all case sensitive, so if you want to make sure that you have access to those slides, I highly recommend that you do that, because a little bit later I'll show off that I have a couple of goodies, some things that I found in my research that I do think will be valuable in terms of expanding your learning and understanding of what's going on in this particular tech talk. So, for the sake of making sure that I'm using this time wisely, I just want to go over a little bit of the schedule of what I'm going to talk about in the next 30 minutes-ish. First of which, I'm going to do my introduction, which we're in right now. I'll go into a bit of theory of why we're doing this, how do we go about approaching technology integration, and then use that as kind of like a supporting foundation for once we actually get into the next bit, which is me answering a couple of questions specifically about BookCreator, and then give you a little bit of showcase so you have an idea of what you're getting into, what this tool is about, and then of course from there the extension is just a few good tool applications. Just what does it look like introducing this tool into your classroom? What are a few ways that you can think about it? And once hopefully you start to see what's possible for this tool and how that works inside of your own classroom, you can start reaping some of those benefits in there. And then finally, I just want to end out by sharing my goodies with everybody, a link to the evaluation. It's an important part of making sure that what we do here, not only we get to figure out whether or not what we're doing is a useful part of people's time, but also we get to make it and improve it and make it better for the future. And that is when I will also open up for questions. Now, at this particular recording, I'm just talking with Kurt, but that's totally fine. Just don't forget, and I'll have the email up at the very end as well. If you ever want to reach out to us, we would love to hear from you. We want this to be a conversation starter. There's no way I can teach you everything about what BookCreator is about in these 30 minutes, but hopefully at least give you that start. So yeah, with that, let's jump on in. First of all, the main objective. What are we doing here? What are we learning? And that would be what's on the screen right now. After this training, teachers will be able to integrate BookCreator into their classroom to help students achieve learning goals and acquire 21st century skills. And so the what is the BookCreator. The how is that we're trying to figure out how do we integrate this technology in a meaningful way that enhances what you're already trying to do in the classroom. I'm not necessarily trying to add things on top of your plate. I'm trying to enhance what's already happening there. You're already trying to achieve learning goals, and in some way you're also trying to get students get their hands on these 21st century skills that are useful not only in the school but also outside of the classroom as well. So I'm going into these questions. Why do we bother introducing technology into the classroom? Because there is a cost to adding technology. You have to learn it yourself, the students have to learn it, and then you have to integrate it with what you're already doing here. And my answer to that, it's not the only answer, but I think it's a good one, I would argue, is to support your learning goals. All of what you're doing inside of your classroom, your standards, everything that you're trying to get to the students, it should be supporting that first and foremost. If it doesn't apply to that, at the very least it should apply to what the National Education Association refers to as the 21st century skills. Now, these aren't the only ones that are on there, but I think these are good skills that are useful in all classes and outside of school as well. So that's communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. And whenever I'm looking for technology tools to integrate in classroom or share with other teachers, I try to see, can they fit these 4 skills? Is there something about this technology that allows students to communicate or collaborate or think critically or be creative and express themselves? And so hopefully you can see it in BookCreator, how it matches all of these criteria here. Now, once you're convinced on, okay, I'm convinced, I'm going to put the technology in my classroom, what do I do from here? That's a good question to ask. How do you integrate technology in a meaningful, substantial way? I'm going to recommend the SAMR model. But this isn't the only way. This is just one of many different ways that you can think about technology integration, but I just think it's a really simple explanation. For those who are unfamiliar, SAMR model has to do with the degree of technology integration in your classroom. Like, if you do introduce technology, what are the different ways that you can do it? Well, SAMR, SAMR, are the different ways. You could either use it to substitute something that you're already doing, augment something with one of the features in the tool. You can use it to modify a task, or you can use it to completely redefine your task and create something that wasn't available until you introduced that technology in here. And we here at OPSRC, we're trying to promote transformation inside of the classroom, and so try to look for tasks that fit inside of this model, kind of on the higher end here. But if you're just putting the technology in there, using it as a substitution or augmentation, that is totally fine, because that still helps the students out as well. Okay, moment you've been probably waiting for, but I do think kind of setting that foundation is important as we kind of build on this technology tool here. Because I think thinking about these two other questions, why are you doing introducing technology and how are you doing it, is important for all pieces of technology. So here we have BookCreator. Let's focus on the three questions. What is it? How does it support engagement? And how do I access it? So first of all, BookCreator, simply put, it's a tool to use to make digital books. And I would love to show you some of the examples in a little bit. Or actually, I might be able to just skip to one really quick, just to give you kind of a feel of what it looks like before I go further into it. I mean, it has this nice little book setting. We have like a little title page here. I can flip, and it makes nice little animations that kind of mimics going through a book. You can put images on here, text on here. You can embed video inside there, which is quite nice. It has the audio that plays as well. It's just really nice. Over here, someone has put inside of this book like an audio clip that you can click on that plays. And there's even read to me features on there. So it has quite a bit of accessibility features, which I have a soft heart for. So that's just to give you an idea of what we're looking at here. A couple of features that are really great in BookCreator, not the only ones, but just ones that I personally think are pretty great. Teacher can use it to publish student work. I'm all about putting students' work out there, taking it outside of the classroom, having the community, parents, have other people enjoy and be able to give feedback and just give back into the students. That way you can connect what's going on in the classroom with what's going on outside of it. It very easily supports embedded media. With the click of a few buttons, you can throw images in there, video, audio. You can put all sorts of things inside of the books to make them an interactive experience. And like I said before, this tool really puts the power on these students, and it empowers them, and it gives them the option to create their own stories. That way they can take their personal experiences and inject them into the classroom. And of course, the final question here, where do you access it? BookCreator.com, very straightforward link here. So I'm going to go to this, BookCreator.com, and I will come back to my slides in a bit. Because this next little bit, I'm going to spend a little bit of time showcasing some of the features inside of BookCreator so you have an idea of what this looks like. So once you're at BookCreator.com, that's BookCreator.com. Always a little weird when I'm doing my spelling. I don't want to misspell it here. To get started, you can create a free account. Of course, if you already have like a Google account, Microsoft account, you can sign in. I already have some, so I don't have to go through this process. I'm just going to go up to the top right-hand corner of my screen up here and click on Sign In into BookCreator. From here, this is also where students sign in as well. They can use a Google or Microsoft account. Something that is a little interesting, though, if you do have younger students or you don't want to have them all have their own accounts, you can have them log in with QR codes or personal links if that's a little easier for you, and that can be done through here. But I'm going to do the Teacher Sign In tab and sign in with my Google account. Just give me a moment. I'll click through these real quick. All right. And here is my very, very lovely teacher dashboard. Let me just get rid of this real quick. Okay. So on the dashboard, you got a couple of things that you can click on. From here, you can start with your libraries. Effectively, whenever you're working inside of of BookCreator, you have a library, and inside of that library, you can put 40 books. You do have kind of like a private collection of books called My Books. You can't really get rid of that or do anything with it other than add books into it or create your own. If you do plan on using BookCreator for classroom use, you can start by clicking on Create a New Library, which I'll get to in a minute. But I do want to highlight a limitation of free accounts. You're only allowed to have one active library at a time, and you can only put 40 books inside of it. Now, the way to get around that, you kind of saw me do in a moment there, is by archiving libraries. And it's one of the features that you kind of effectively, people still have access to the books. It's just that you won't be able to make any edits or anything to them. You kind of set the library books aside. So if you do want to use BookCreator, think about it as kind of like a project space. Every time that you create a library, you have a specified amount of time that people are going to work on it, and then once everybody's done, archive that library and then create a new one so you can start a new project on here. So I think this is good for project-based style learning. All right, a few things I want to point out here. On the very top of my screen here, at the very top right-hand corner, I'm going to click on this little symbol that represents me and my profile. I do want to point out right over here, this is where you can access student logins. That's how you can create QR codes or personal links for students to access in here. If they already have Gmail accounts, you can just have them log in with there. But just in case you do, there's an option for you. Next is the Learn tab here. This is where the support articles on here. They're pretty good. I think if you want to extend your learning or just need a place to start, right over here you can click on any one of these articles. I think they're quite good. Next is the Discover tab. Now, one of the really nice things about BookCreator, them as a company as a whole, is the fact that they put out so many examples of what's possible with their books. For example, we have examples on sorted by grade, so you can see elementary examples, middle school examples, high school examples on here. Or if I scroll down, you can have examples by subject. So if I'm looking for a math book, I can just click on the math section here. And here we have tons of book examples: place value, arrays, algorithms, proportions. There's a good chunk of examples here just to get the thoughts, creativity flowing here. Or there's even a section specifically dedicated to teachers. They have a couple of books in here, so if you want to use BookCreator for the high school classroom, click on that, get a bunch of examples here. You could do social emotional learning, creative digital citizenship. There's a big old book of BookCreator activity book inside of there. So there's lots of examples out there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel whenever you're looking through these. You can take a look at these examples here and try to get an idea of what's possible. So I think, if anything, this is worth exploring just to use some of these resources here. All right. Let's jump into actually creating. I want to talk a little bit about some of these features here. So I'm going to start with the big yellow button in the middle of my screen. Right now I'm on the library section of my dashboard. I'm going to click on Create a New Library. I'm just going to give it a generic name. Let's go with 10th grade Hopkins. Pretty good. There's a couple of feature settings that you can do here. One that I do want to point out is allow Google image search. And so this is kind of like a safe search situation here. And it will allow students to take images from online and put them into your books. But if you don't want them to have those options, you can always toggle that on and off. Totally fine. And I'm going to click on Create Library. And there's nothing in there quite yet, so I'm going to click on my 10th grade Hopkins library here. Nothing in here, but there will be soon. I've got a big old yellow button on the top right-hand corner that says plus new book that will get me started. However, if you want students to get started, they're going to need an invite code. That is at the very top part of my screen in the middle, underline, that says invite code. I'm going to click on that. And this is the code that you want to share with your students. Whenever they log in, they will take this code. You can share with them, email it, copy it, put it somewhere. And then when they're on their dashboard, they click on Join a Library down here at the very bottom. I'm going to click on this. You put the code in there, you click Join Library, and they can start creating books inside of your library here. So pretty nice for them. Very easy for them to use. All right, let's show some of the features on what does it look like when you're actually building the book out. So top right hand corner up here, plus new book in the big yellow button here. I'm going to click on that. So one really nice thing to start out with is you can either pick a book shape. So you can get the portrait size like a comic book, square landscape, or you can choose from loads of lovely little templates. They got a newspaper template, a cookbook template, a magazine template. They even have themes on here. And so there's lots of things that, you know, if your student has no idea where to start, that's fine. Just having a little bit of options just to kind of steer them a little bit can help tremendously. But I'm going to go with the blank book on this one. I'm a little experienced here, so I don't mind starting with the blank page. And let's go with a good old-fashioned square. 1 by 1, exact width, exact height. Here we go. Okay, so here's the interface. It's the cover page, and I know that's true because it's saying that at the very top of the page. If I want to add more pages in here, all I have to do is click the arrow button on the right-hand side of my screen. Click that. Now I'm on page 2, and I can add as many pages as I want that way. Now, where most of the action is going to happen is at the top right-hand corner of my screen. You have a couple of buttons here. The little play symbol is kind of like a preview button. It reads you the book, so it gives you an idea of what this looks like as a sort of preview. It's blank now, so it's not interesting. I'm going to go back to the edit screen. But if you ever want to see what it looks like, how your book is going to function for other people, it's really easy to do that through that read button up there. Next is this little eye symbol, which is, it's called the inspector button, but the idea is it's context sensitive settings. So in this case, the context is just this blank background. If I click the eye symbol, it gives me a couple of options of something to do with that background. So if I don't like white, I can click on these circles, turn it black, I can turn it blue. There's more options down here, like if I go into the comics category, I can make it look more like a little comic book, a little action scene there. Or if I wanted to go, let's go with the texture. I can make it look like a marble table or a wood table. One of the ones that I like is the paper section here. I used to teach math, so I'm a huge fan of seeing like grid paper in here. I can see people doing things with lines on here, or you could do just kind of like a note card setting, or you could do like a musical stand on here. You could have students build music, like sheet music on here. So there's lots of options here. Now, something to notice about that little section on the right-hand side over there is if you click out of it to interact with anything inside of your book, it will disappear on default. Or on the very top right-hand corner of that little section here is a little pin. And so if you click on that, then it will take up that right-hand side over there. So if you click out of it, it won't close it. Now, if space is at a premium in what you're dealing with, like if your monitor is small, if you're working on a laptop and you don't like it there, that is totally fine. You don't have to pin. But if you have kind of like lots of little space, like I'm dealing with the 2-monitor situation here right now, pinning is absolutely fine. And I can have my settings there at all times so I know what I'm dealing with. All right, I'm going to take a real quick swig of water, and then we'll talk about the good old plus button. That's where you have tons of goodies. Okay, so this is where you can start embedding things inside of your page. You got the import button, which you can use to take things from your Google Drive, or if you have a local file. Let's say I'm going to search for an image for a cat. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cat. I like this poofy one right here. I'm going to click on this female Siberian cat and click on add. And then boom, I got a picture of a cat on this book. Maybe it's a book about cats, who knows? But if I need to do anything with the image, like move it, I can easily click it, move it around, or I can resize it by clicking and dragging the corners of this image. I don't want the cat to be too big, otherwise I wouldn't have space for more other cats. I can click on this picture here. One of the nice features I see that's on here is that there are snapping features. So if you're you want to make it look pretty, you want to make things centered, you want objects to be aligned with each other. You can see these faint lines like the one in the middle of my screen to make sure that this picture is centered to the middle of my page, so pretty nice. And you can see on the right hand side, as I'm manipulating this, I can add more features into here. Like if I want this photo to have a link attached to it, I can do that as well. I can add alternative text to make it a little more accessible. So pretty nice. But pictures from there aren't the only things you can get. Give me a second. I'm going to stop my video. So I'm going to add something from the camera. So something that's really nice is that you can add your own face and video into your books as well. This is really nice to give kind of like that nice personal touch inside of the book. So I can take a nice little picture like this. There you go. That's beautiful. And then click Use Picture. It uploads it, and then boom, there I am inside of the book. Or I could click this, do a camera, click on Record Video, and do like one of those, like, at the end of books, you have that little sections like, this is about the author, and they have like a nice little picture of them. Why not spice that up a little bit? Let's give them kind of the Harry Potter treatment, where you see those still images turn into something more interactive. So I'm going to click this Record Video option here. And then I wave my hands, I say some words, it's an amazing video, stop. It might take a little bit, a second to upload this, but depending on the length of the video, it should work out quite nicely. If I click on Use Video, it will upload that for me, no problem. Okay. While that does that, just to show off the last couple of features, I have the pen tool. Pen tool is really nice. You got a couple of different brushes here, so nice little stroke there can work, or I could do like a paintbrush stroke, or I could do a little marker. You can change the size of the pens down here. You can change the colors with the options at the top of my screen. They have this nice little rainbow marker over here, or I could do the eraser bit here. I could do a paintbrush. I could even do emojis in here, which is really nice. There's a robust amount of features inside there for the pen. And something that you should try, I'm not going to do it now for the sake of time, but try out the magic pen. It would be really cool. Like, try to draw something with the magic pen and see that. It's real cool. All right. Oop, my video's working. Let me click on that, make sure it's working out. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, man. Oh, cool. All right. So, pretty nice. And then finally, you got your text, of course. It's not super robust. It's not like a rich text editor, but it gets the job done. So if you need a little bit of text here, you can highlight and bold it, underline it, italicize, add links inside of there, which is really powerful. Or a tool that I have a soft spot for is this speech-to-text feature here. So this feature allows you to speak, and then it will turn that into text. So I think that makes this tool a little more accessible for everybody. Now, it's not perfect. Like, it can't spell my name, Kashawn Hopkins, appropriately, but, it tries its best. That's always fun. And then I can click on Done. And note that there are features on the right-hand side, and it's picking up on the context that I'm trying to edit that text. So I can swap really easy between changing the settings for this little drawing that I've done to changing the settings for my video. You can add captions in there, which is really cool. Or you could change the settings for the text. It's quite nice. All right, I've done enough time on this. Once you are done with this book, it's not an amazing book, but it gets the job done. Top right hand corner, and I kind of skipped a step here, but if you click on Read Book on the top right hand corner, and then click the little Share Settings button up here on the top right hand corner, there's an option to publish online. You can also download this as an ebook, which is kind of a cool feature there, or print this out. But if you choose to publish online, you give the book a title, and then when you choose to publish the book, you have a private link that you can share with people at any time. Or there's also ways to embed videos inside of websites, but that's another conversation. All right, got about 3 minutes. Let me just share a few things here. I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of this showcase here. Something to keep in mind is that there are tons of applications for your book creator. One, you can use it as a substitution activity. Like, for example, you got your textbooks, physical textbooks in the classroom. You could take these textbooks and figure out a way to put that information online in kind of a digital textbook, substitute it out. For a physical textbook, for a textbook you can use online. You can use this as an augmentation style activity. One really nice example, I have to show this, is a foreign language example. They had a student put together a book for Spanish for beginners. So they have the words on here, and if they click on these little audio symbols here, it reads out the word as well. So it's a really nice way to use those audio features to build language. Oh, it's amazing. Next is modification activity. Something that you could do is create a book and add videos and images in there, so it takes advantage of all of those multimedia features. And you could do like a redefining application. There is a really good example, and just to show this very briefly, of students in a school getting together and creating and collaborating and building out a book where each page or page or so is dedicated to an inspiring woman. And so they put a little blurb, do a little bit of research, put a nice little image there, and each page is just dedicated to these very amazing women. And what you can do is publish that, like on a school website, just have that available for the community to enjoy and give feedback on. Whew. I just have to say thank you so much, everybody, for listening to all of this. I hope this has been worth your time. Just a few things for this last minute here. I have resources dedicated to BookCreator and Sammer. I think they're all quite good, and I think it's worth your time going through them if you have access to the slides. And if you need access to those, last page over here, I have the links on here as well. And if you watch this video, even if you weren't here for the live recording, that is totally fine. If you enjoyed what you've listened to, or if you didn't enjoy, that's fine. We want to hear from you. And so here's an address for our evaluation sheet. It's t.ly/ggz capital K. Remember, that's all case sensitive. And a quick reminder, who you've been listening to for these last 30 minutes is Kashawn Hawkins. He is very thankful that you spent this time to not only build your knowledge, but also just open your mind to trying to do something different, to trying to transform parts of your classroom so that your students can get a better education. So I really do appreciate you taking that time. And lastly, if you like this and you want to do more, visit opsrc.net/techtalks, because that's the way that you can access our other future presentations that we're going to do. I would love to hear and see from you all. But for right now, I think that's it from me. Thank you so much, and have a great day.